amazing to see.
Heading towards the grid right now, heading towards the dogleg section of the course. And we're seeing reverse of what you see on your screen right now with Dave Casey starting from the pole, Nash Morris alongside him, Whyte and Gartner, Richardson and Milburn, Ingall and Weel, Morris and Davies. So what you see on your screen is a complete reverse of what we have from qualifying. Now, we explained earlier today, during that, you can't sandbag in here because there's points on offer. You are going to start the back at some point during the weekend.
Yeah, it is, and I think for Shae Davies, he actually did a great job because he missed most of the practice session because of an mechanical issue with the truck, and he's come out in qualifying and put it on a pole, but obviously he's now, as you mentioned, starting at the back of the field, and really, it's as you got the point. Now the fast trucks are at the back, and they're going to have to make their way through these other, I wouldn't say slow trucks, but obviously a little bit slower than what they were.
It's a simple hose clip that come off the Shae Davies truck yesterday. It was a 30-second fix, and they got that Townsville 500 sponsored entry back onto the course. He'll start from the back as the trucks line up into position. Last time they were here was 2017. It was a wild old affair, but that's Boost Mobile Super Trucks. Dave Casey gets a shot at glory here as G-Technic 121 alongside the Flash. Nash Morris in only his second start. Never actually made it to the grid though at Tasmania. Loves the truck, loves the course, and he's set for the charge. All 440 metres down to turn number one. Who's your pick?
Well, I think Nash Morris has got some form, and actually last night we saw two of these trucks run down the drag strip, as you can see on the right-hand side there. But here we go, they're off.
The Australian flag waves them away, and the charge to turn number one goes to Nash Morris, so he'll lead the field down to read the fast guys trying to fan out 2 and 3 wide. You're in truck with the dude, Paul Morris, who's a 2-time winner here and a former world champion in the category back in 2017. It's down to turn number one we go for the first of 11 journeys.
Everyone's doing a great job navigating through turn one. At the back of the field there, you see it's still 2 abreast between Paul Morris and Shae Davies. Russell Ingall as being a nuisance, as he always has been, but Paul Weel also stuck in this 4-truck train.
Usually they're told to take it nice and easy on the opening lap here with the comp caution to come up sometime in the first few laps as Nash Morris leads us over the Battery World jump. Off the track goes Davies down at turn 5. And isn't this an angry little battle pack on the way down to turn number 6?
And like normal, when you're fighting in the middle of the pack, the leaders always get away cleanly. And look at Nash Morris. He's got a great now gap.
If the seasoned driver will know, there's no point trying to get a big margin here in the first few laps when we compress the field. Casey runs in second. Rob Whyte, who returns to the series, runs in third. There's Greg Gartner and Shaun Richardson, the Road Rage Industries, number 12, just behind in 4th. Good start so far. Door left open here by Casey. Contact with Whyte, and he's going to spin in front of the group and will drop to the tail.
Does a great job. Well, everyone does a great job avoiding Rob as he gets turned around, and that's the beauty, as you mentioned, about this, I suppose, safety car periods, that he'll, even though he's at the back of the pack and he's lost a bit of ground, he will then close that up once they continue again.
And the idea is to keep the field from stretching out too far, as Morris, who started from the back row of the field, is now up to 7th position behind Ingall, as Gartner pulls out to make the move on Casey down at turn number 1, gets the job done in the R&J Batteries, number 410, fresh from his Fink run last weekend, like Paul Weel. So they're race fit, but they're back on the tarmac. We start lap 2, the Flash leads.
Don't they look so great when they've got 3 wheels and they're sort of dangling that front left-hand tire, but isn't it great to be young? Look at Nash, he's just got full of confidence.
So too is Casey.
Casey's all over the shop.
Busy man behind the steering wheel as they turn through turn 5, Pop House turn, and clear the ramp down towards turn number 6. Travis Milburn in the blue and orange core gas entry, about to be passed by Paul Weel. Same happening here with the Road Rage Industries entry of Shaun Richardson. Just behind this group, he clears Casey. Morris in the middle, the jump back in truck with the Hulk 4x4 entry.
How good is that V8 sound? Oh, look at that.
Landing. Paul off the track. I think that's Richardson. Yeah. Richardson in the corner you talked about leading into the race. So he's taking the long lap that we talked about in qualifying today. The unofficial one is now Weel tries to fight back, side by side with Davies out the final turn. Just checking, that is lap 2, isn't it?
That is
like the last lap.
Look at these two fighting. They've got it's only 1 truck wide through this little chicane. Paul Weel's finally got through on Shae Davies, but
So
look at the way. It's just great, the attitude of when they're in the truck. There's Davies in the slipstream.
I've been mega impressed with Davies since he joined us in 2020 on the streets of Adelaide. He picked up a win. He locks up the Continental tyres on the way into turn number 1. Wheel drills the back of Russell Ingall into turn number 1.
That allows Davies to go up the inside of him.
There's feeling in race number 1. This is one of 3 races we're having this weekend, not the final race of the season. Wheel side by side with Russell Ingall through the dogleg and down to turn number 5. Nash Morris continues to lead. Down to turn number 5. Wheel, Ingall, Travis Milburn. And Shaun Richardson, just like that, is clawing his way back into the field. Passing move for Casey. Someone bowling a wide massively and heading to the exit car park at Hidden Valley.
I think that was Paul Wheel.
Oh, nothing to worry about. And Davies will be lucky. Craig Dontis had an accident like that years ago. It ended up on its roof. When you get 2 wheels on there, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it never ends pretty, that's for sure. He's done a great job to be able to maintain back on 4 wheels and continue. I think he only lost a spot, so did a great job in that side of it.
Could have been much worse. For the Townsville 500 sponsored entry, car 88 is into the final turn. Milburn bombs it down the inside of Ingall at the final turn. Ingall won't make this easy. It's down towards the final chicane. We use the pit entry, but we don't use the pits. We go to the right, we hook into the left. There's a tyre wall awaiting, just in case you come in a fraction hot.
Actually, I don't know if that was Greg Gardner that went off, because Greg Gardner's still sitting in second and closing the gap on Nash Morris.
I think it could have been Whyte, maybe down there, as battle for the lead. Battle for the lead now. Smiley, Greg Gartner from South Australia.
Come on, Nash.
Side by side with Nash, who's doing double duties here today in the combined sedans in the XL. He's not going to give these up. He's a better line going through the switchback here.
Who's going to be brave on the brakes?
Gartner.
Oh, you're right, he's got him.
Around the outside, the R&J Batteries truck takes the lead on lap number 4.
And you got Paul Morris just set the fastest lap at the moment at 1 minute 34.3. So Paul's now closing on the back of his son.
He's up to 3rd position. Meantime, Milburn and Weel, the KMC Wheels entry, sporting a bit of damage, and now getting one to go on with by Shaun Richardson. There's a bit of feeling between Richardson and Ingall, and now they're right behind each other. It's down through turn number 7 on lap 4 of this race.
Imagine the dinner conversation between Paul and Nash. Who was better, who was faster, who jumped higher.
He's got some confidence now, the Flash, and this might boost it, running in 2nd position. Down towards the last turn, hard on the brakes. This is what tripped Paul Morris up back in 27. That tyre wall on the right-hand side. We had a double jump back then, but just the single as we fly into the warm air here at Hidden Valley. Another lap in the books. Gartner into the lead as the comp caution comes out, and everybody, including us, can take a big, deep breath, because that was a wild start to Boost Mobile Super Trucks. There'll be a whole stream of replays here to look at, no question, for the first sector of the race. I saw someone going off in the background there.
That was
well.
Davies.
And that's Whyte getting turned around. That was in the opening laps of the race. And that was Davies tripping up. Easy to do down there. We've seen this. That's a classic move down at the final turn at Hidden Valley. Now, that was Wheel.
Wheel had them all locked up. Just ran wide out of turn 6. This was, so close.
They get told in the driver's briefing, if you can't commit to go side by side, don't get 2 wheels. He got squeezed by Casey.
There was a bit of contact just as they approached the up ramp.
And come back on, but lucky to keep all 4 wheels. This was the move for the lead down at turn 5. Gartner around the outside, a bit more experience. Nash stayed with him. I'm super impressed with that 94 entry today, running in 2nd position during this comp caution. How's the slow-mo shot?
How's the attitude of the truck? It's on its nose. The rear's starting to move around a little bit. Look at Greg just shutting the door. Young Nash, you're going to have to make your way around me the hard way.
So cool. And just gets it done. Greg Gartner getting the lead down there at turn number 5 as we compress the field up here. You know what, Lounsey? We've still got 7 laps of this.
It's amazing. I don't think Greg's going to relinquish the lead very easily here. I think that it's going to be on between the Morrises, Nash and Paul. I think the father has got some
A few more laps?
A few more laps to rectify an issue. I don't think he wants to go home and have Nash say, Dad, you're getting too old for this.
No, he'll remind him, don't worry. The stay in truck with the Hulk 4x4 entry. The 67, the famed 67. As he comes around behind his son with Greg Gartner at the front. He will command the pace as they come back to the green flag. And we go back to racing anytime from now. Weel pulls out straight away. And you watch turn number 1. 440-metre drag race to this double apex turn. Here comes the dude, deeper under brakes.
Oh, Davies is squirming in behind him. He's going to try and get the inside of Nash here, follow him through. Look at the back of the pack.
And Rob Whyte did well. He drove away from the seam because they were bumping and grinding going into turn number 1. So he loses out of all of that. As the dude goes up to second, Davies drops back in behind. Nash on the way down to turn number 5. The way the trucks just dance on their nose into turn 5. Davies side by side. Nash will have a better line, but he's trying to squeeze him across the ramp. They go side by side. And now into turn number 6. Greg Gartner will lead us down the hill into turn number 7. But the dude is coming on strong here on lap number 6. Ingall and Richardson. Oh my. They had a strong mention of words after race number 3 in Tasmania. Ingall said, hey buddy, I've been doing this a lot longer than you. And Richardson was having none of it.
Well, it didn't sound like Russell at all. And how good's this restart? Paul's now got into second. He's right behind Greg. And this is a 3-speed manual auto that they've got to operate. Paul's got his hand on the fun lever, as you call it, the handbrake. How good's that? Bang. About to shift from second to third. There it goes. And they are flat down into turn 1.
Do you get the feeling too when the truck's going ahead? Do you go up with them and come down like I do?
Absolutely. you're sort of tense. You go, how's this landing going to be? Back to second. He's got the hand on the handbrake. There it is, just trying to get the thing rotated. Look at Paul Weel. He's lost the whole front. He's about to lose a whole heap of positions as well.
At least he's keeping the engine cool. The KMC wheels, bonnet or hood for our American fans. It's going to shed its skin here at the fastest point of the main straight. There it goes into about 40 pieces.
How good's that?
Giving our crew a bit of work to do overnight in the paddock. It's a great, passionate crew of mechanics that travel around with the series. They won't like that, but the fans do. And the engine probably likes it just as much in these warm conditions as Milburn makes the move on Casey. The G-Technic 121 goes back another position.
Well, the one thing these guys don't have to worry about is any aerodynamics. So you're right about the engine cooling. Might even give him a bit of an opportunity. You can see Davies there now closing up the back of Morris to make a 1, 2, 3. And that's really close. Oh, no!
Wheel!
Really?
And it was the landing that caused it. You know what? They're tough trucks. I don't know if that's going to take off again. Spectacular roll. There's damage to the right rear. In fact, I think that's cut the tyre down. The enforcer pulls up to make sure he's okay. And the crowd cheer as the KMC Wheels entry grabs its way back to the pits. That was a big one.
He hit that ramp with a little bit of attitude, and as we were saying, the steering is 1-to-1. So as soon as you hit the ramp, you're in the lap of the gods in the sense of the air, because whenever you take off with the truck, that is what it's going to do in the air. And he was very lucky to firstly land back on its wheel. Here's the replay. Watch it when he approaches. A little contact.
Yeah, that's what started it, and it's just made the truck come in awkward. And this is very similar to Jake Kostecki's crash at Barbagallo a few years ago, coming down of turn number 1. Here it is from behind. So he clipped the curb, went to make the move on the 121, contact which sent it awkward across the ramp, and barrel rolls along, lands back on all 4 wheels. He can drive it back to the paddock at least. They're tough, they're robust, but they have their limits.
How many was that? About 5 rolls? I'm trying to count them. It happened so quickly. It's just that touch. And you see how he had the steering a little bit right hand down as he approached the up ramp, and it just kicked the truck sideways.
I count 6. Either way, there's a lot of barrel rolls right in front. So the Darwin fans know where to stand here. Prime position. And that will light up the social media pages. Let me assure you of that. So the comp caution slowing down the field. This one brought out a little bit earlier with an incident for Paul Weel. Lap 8 of 11, and this is the scene of the crime. On the way down into turn number 10, the KMC Wheels entry. The black truck pulling up alongside the red G-Technic entry, hitting the ramp, and watch this, goes for a series of barrel rolls. Off the ramp, lands back on all four wheels, Craig Lowndes, and cruises back to the pits.
How tough are these trucks? This is amazing. Unfortunately, yeah, just that little contact right there just puts the truck in a bit of a sideways angle on the up ramp, and it just lands awkwardly. But again, it lands unbelievably back on its four wheels. I think Paul took a little bit to where am I? Here I am. And it's still running.
Blue, green, blue, green, blue, green. Lands down. His first big incident. Here it is at full speed. And there's been a lot of work done to these trucks since they were last here to keep the wheels attached. They're tethered now as we go back to green flag racing. Paul Morris trying to make the move here on Greg Gartner. Right on the edge of braking and gets the job done on this, the final lap.
Oh, no. Oh, I think it was Nash, but it wasn't. It was Davies. He loves getting up on two wheels.
From the back of the field, remember these guys, so Morris started on the back row with Shae Davies down to turn number 5. Be a great result for Nash, who back up in his little XL at the end of this race, led for the first handful of laps and runs in fourth ahead of Milburn, Richardson, Whyte and Casey are the remaining drivers that have survived this barroom brawl that is Boost Mobile Super Trucks.
And Paul Morris has got a great record up here, and he's going to continue it if he can stay in front of these guys.
It's been very good to him over the years. The Super Truck Series, as well as Hidden Valley, picked up 2 victories when we were last here back in 2017. Gartner and Davies aren't done, as the rest of the field. Well, there goes Nash. He's undone all his good work. He'll drop another position to Milburn in the core gas entry. Down to the final turn. Well, it is for the normal track. We've got 2 turns remaining in Boost Mobile Super Trucks. The Dude, Gartner and Davies down to the final turn. Through the dog leg and across the Boost Mobile ramp for the final time. What a wild start it's been here in the top end. And the Dude picks up victory number 3 in Boost Mobile Super Trucks for season 2021. Wow. And I know from the briefing it was about keeping it all straight, keeping it nice. We've got 2 more races.
How's the look on Paul's face? You don't normally see him sweat, but he is sweating inside that. He's done a great job of coming from the back of the field. As you mentioned, they started at the rear. He's worked his way all the way through this field.
Incredible finish. Morris from the back of the field ahead of Gartner, Davies and Milburn. Nash Morris, who led early, finished in position 5 ahead of Whyte, Richardson, Casey and Paul Wheel and Russell Ingall. Let's get to the bottom of what happened to Russ in that one. But Paul Wheel, the KMC Wheels team, have plenty of work to do before race number 2. Thoroughly enjoyed that one, and a busy night ahead for our crews down in the pits. But victory number 3 going to Paul Morris. The Hog 4x4 cements himself nicely at the top of this year's championship with 2 races to go. Loving the action, and I'm sure everybody here in Darwin is. And for more reaction down in pit lane, let's head down to Mark Scaife.
Well, thanks, Nolts. I'm down here with Garth Tander and Marcus Ambrose. We're going to do a little lap of pit lane because there's a lot